Hello everyone, welcome back. I want to talk to you guys a little bit today about the effect of wind on 22 long rifle at 50 yards. Today was a little bit of a learning experience for me. Normally when I'm shooting distance with 22s, I'm paying attention to the wind. I've done prior videos on doing wind adjustments with 22 long rifle. And in those videos, I talked about shooting at 100 yards, 150 yards, and 200 yards. But I never even considered a wind adjustment at 50 yards. So today, I just decided I was going to shoot 50 yards. And as I'm shooting, right, I've got, I got a CMMG 22 conversion bolt in this AR-15 over here, and that's got the primary arms 1 to 8 scope on it. So it's got an 8 power scope on it at 50 yards. So basically, this thing gets blown up pretty big, and that's got that ACSS reticle, which basically has a chevron. So I got this at 50 yards, and I've got my chevron basically right underneath the bullseye, right? And I start shooting. And as I'm shooting, I'm seeing the hits because it's only 50 yards. I got 8x magnification. I'm seeing the bullets impact all the way out here. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, why is this happening? I'm starting to think that maybe my scope lost zero, and then all of a sudden I realized that the wind is hitting the side of my face, pretty aggressively. And I looked up at my wind ribbons, and I saw that I had basically a 20 mile per hour wind that was going to the left, diagonally forward. Okay, so it wasn't a straight crosswind; it was a diagonal wind at about 20 miles per hour because these ribbons were like basically just standing straight out like that. I'm like, I was really surprised. I never thought that I would need to consider making wind adjustments at 50 yards. So basically, it moved the bullet about 3 inches to the left, right? So because the wind has a value where it's going left and it's also going forward, so that forward motion also had the effect of lifting up the bullet. So it actually raised it up a little bit, and I got hits over there. And like I said, when I was shooting, I could see my chevron here. It was barely moving, because I had the gun rested on the bag, front and back. So when I'm shooting, the chevron's doing this. It's going pop, 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 pop. It's not moving from this spot over here. Okay. So what I did is I waited for the wind to die down a little bit, and then I took some more shots, and then basically I got a grouping right there, right. And then what happened is all of a sudden there's a gust of wind that went straight out forward, that lifted the bullet from here all the way up to there. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. I did not think that the wind would have that much of an effect at 50 yards on the 22. Now, mind you, yeah, it was a 20 mile per hour wind, so it was a nice gust. But yeah, that's something I now have to consider when I'm shooting the 22s. And I've done a prior video on this discussing the details. And basically, if you have a crosswind, right, which is going, left to right, full value, not diagonal, full value, at 10 miles per hour, okay, at 100 yards, it'll move it 6 inches. At 150 yards, it will move it 1 foot. And at 200 yards, it will move it 2 feet, okay? So that's something really easy for me to remember. So, and then what happens is, like, if I see that I have a 20 mile per hour wind, well, I just, that's a crosswind, what I do is I double those numbers, right? If I see that I only have a 5 mile per hour wind, I cut those numbers in half, okay? And then what I also do is if the wind is diagonal, okay, so it's no longer a full value, I then also cut those numbers in half. So since I had a 20 mile per hour wind that was diagonal, okay, what I would do is I would treat that as a 10 mile per hour crosswind. So like I said, at 10 miles per hour, at 100 yards, the bullet will move 6 inches. So basically, at 50 yards, which is half that distance, it moved it about 3 inches. So it's actually holding very true. The one thing I've not had so much experience with is how much it would actually lift it. Um, because the numbers that I gave you guys, I've actually, I've researched them. Other people have posted them, and I've been able to verify them. But nobody ever really talks about the effect of the wind pushing a bullet or coming into the bullet. And the reason is, if you're shooting like a fastball like 5.56, that the wind, if you're shooting into the wind, or the wind is blowing away from you, it tends to not affect the bullet that much. However, with the 22, it seems like it is affecting it. So a wind going out is basically giving the bullet a little bit more lift, or it's not, the bullet seems to be rising, and that's what it's doing. And in other, the last time I was shooting this, I was shooting into a headwind, and I saw that my bullets were dropping a bit. So with the 22s, if you're shooting into the wind, or if you're shooting, if you got a wind, you got a headwind, or if you got a wind that's pushing you out, it can also affect your bullets. So that's something really interesting. I got a really good understanding of the of the effect of the crosswinds. I haven't really nailed down the effect of the wind, of an incoming wind or an outgoing wind with 22. So that's something interesting. I'm going to start paying a lot of attention to that, and shooting. Anytime I see that I got a wind going out or a wind coming in, I'm going to be shooting lots of 22s and recording the numbers, and just trying to build up some statistics as far as what an incoming wind or an outgoing wind will do to the 22s. But from what I see here, it actually did not expect it to rise that much, but it did. So if you guys got any comments, put in the comment section. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.